Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching today. We're just simply going to be looking at where Bitcoin is heading next and what altcoins might do as a result of that. So before we look into the charts and the news, and some of the key areas that I'm looking at for Bitcoin, smash that like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and of course does help support the channel, as does your wonderful comments that you take the time to write. I take the time to read them and to respond. So first of all, I thought that this was pretty funny, actually. Let me find here. Yes, altcoins waiting to see what Bitcoin will do next. Those who've watched the movie Forrest Gump know exactly what I mean when I posted that earlier today. Altcoins, the struggle is real because Bitcoin is cooling off. And a lot of people ask, well, what are altcoins going to do? Well, it really depends what Bitcoin dominance is going to do. And when Bitcoin dominance begins to move upwards as Bitcoin cools off, altcoins are going to take a bit of a hit, and of course a lot more of a hit than Bitcoin itself. So let's look at the Bitcoin charts here. And remember, I did cover yesterday USDT dominance, and I said if this started to happen and we broke through the 20 EMA on the daily, where this has been around about the top of the range there, then it could be some trouble. Now, there are a couple of wicks here. So this area here is my line in the sand, the 50 EMA on the daily. If USDT dominance breaks above, that means people are taking profits. They're selling their altcoins. They're selling their Bitcoin into USDT. That's why USDT is going up. When USDT is going down, that's because people are using it to buy Bitcoin and altcoins, and there's less of it. So my concern would be here. We do have a bit of a fair value gap up here to around 5.28%. That could very well be filled there. I might just draw a little bit of a line there around that area. Just draw a line so we can have it and keep an eye on that. And then, of course, we have the 50-day moving average. So what I'm thinking could play out here, there's a little bit of bearishness around. Now, I shared this yesterday in my YouTube video that I expected a cool off for further upside pump. And that's still what I'm expecting based off what I'm seeing in the charts today. Is a little bit of a cool off, a little bit of pullback to allow Bitcoin to create a higher low, then go on to create a higher high. And I'll show you where I'm seeing these things in the chart. So for example, let's look at USDT dominance. This would continue to go up to here or here and then reject and create a lower high, and then come down, lose this 200 EMA on the daily, and then come down eventually to the 200-day moving average at 4.7%. And so that would then create Bitcoin would go on a little bit of a pump. So some short-term cool-off. We have the Fed interest rate cut decision tomorrow. The market is pricing in pretty much 97% that there's going to be no cut. If there was to be a cut, I think that's going to be quite bullish and add some momentum to the markets there. And then that would also, I think, Fed Powell's speech would be quite dovish as a result. However, if there's no rate cut as expected, I think that's already priced in. But what's not priced in, or to a certain extent, there's a little bit of fear about what he's going to say and what his tone is, and if he's going to be very hawkish, because that could bring some more downside to the market, some more short-term downside to the market. And what could happen is after that Wednesday, let's just say rate cut decision, no cuts, and then the tone is quite hawkish, then I think the market sells off a little bit. But then the administration could come in and announce some tariff deals are done, and that could pick the market back up again there. So those are a couple of scenarios that could play out. Of course, if there's no tariff news, I think that could be overly bearish for the remainder of the week coming into the new week next week. So let's take it day by day, and this is why these videos are out there every day, and this is why I share updates in the Tribal Trades Discord on a daily basis there. So if we jump back across to Bitcoin, how could I see this playing out? A couple of areas that we could see it coming back to. Obviously, we've already seen it come back to this Fibonacci line here, this 92,800 line here, this double Fibonacci. We also have the 20 EMA on the daily and Another Fibonacci level at 92. So between 92, 800 and 92, there is 3 levels there of support. We are looking like we're rolling over a little bit. This could end up being a little bit of a Bart Simpson or a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. And if we do see a deeper pullback, then we could then come back to this 90 to $88,000 level, which is where this fair value gap is. Of course, we would also fill the CME gap. The CME gap also is down there as well, of course, and we could end up filling the CME gap, that is a little bit lower down here, which is down to around 91,900. So that would definitely fill that gap. If we came down to that 70,000, that gap would be filled. And the fair value gap, of course, can be filled down to that $88,000 level. And so that's down here around, we've got a bunch of 20 EMA on the weekly is down around that level as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we came down to the 20 EMA on the weekly and retested that. It really hasn't had a retest. And so I would think coming down to that at some point is going to be normal. And then really these are the areas I don't want to see lost. The 50-day moving average at 87 and the 200 EMA on the daily at 86. So that could be, and that would be retracing this entire move, and this whole Bart Simpson pattern would play off here as we'd see it come round and come all the way down and pretty much come back to that 86 to 87, maybe even 88 level. So I think that would be a healthy correction. I shared that in the video yesterday titled Healthy Correction or Doomsday Scenario. And you can see here with the stochastic RSI, we do have the blue line in the floor below the 20%. And so what could play out here is a little bit more further downside, cool off. And of course, we can go sideways and this can continue to come down. This gives an opportunity for it to then curl back to the upside. And then once the correction is finished, move back to the upside. We also see it happening on the MACD, on the daily time frame there. And if we switch to the weekly, which is what I'm really looking at, of course, I would not look at exiting any of my position unless we see the blue curl below the red line there before it hits the 80%. Or if it gets above the 80%, I'd want it to curl both below the red and below the 80% line. But of course, it could just curl over here before it gets to the 80% line, and I will keep that updated. And of course, on the monthly time frame, the stochastic RSI, we'd need to see this curl over to the downside, and that's not happening at the moment. And I think this could take this blue, even if we do start to go into a bear market, this could take a month or 2 or 3 for it to curl over, show signs of a clear exit. And at the moment, by the way, on the stochastic RSI on the monthly, it's about to trigger an actual bullishness to the upside for that if this does cross back over and back above the red line there. And so there's no panic for me. There's no thoughts where I would be looking to sell or get out of the market. There's certainly no indicators for me also to be buying at the moment, because I don't think this move to the downside has necessarily finished. And of course, as I said, Bitcoin dominance is starting to jump up. So alts are beginning to take a bit of a punishment there. It's up now, a new all-time high. So this is the highest that it's ever been. It's 2020, and it just keeps going up. And if history plays out, this could get as high as 71%, which would mean altcoins will take even more of a hit there. Of course, the stronger altcoins like Tau have been doing really, really well of lately, still holding quite strong. So we just need to keep an eye on those charts. And I'm giving updates there in the Discord. Now, of course, there's no guarantee. Bitcoin dominance could top out here and that might be it. And then we could plummet down and altcoins could start to go parabolic, okay? Just because it's been to 71% before doesn't necessarily mean it's going to 71% now. It could top out at any time there for the altcoin market. So that's what I would be looking at for Bitcoin. So again, I'm not looking at picking up any coins. I already gave in the Discord $2.10 and $33 for Tau. They've already taken off like a rocket ship. The market's in greed. I don't want to be buying greed. I want to be selling greed. So I've been taking lots of profits here on Tau and on Sui there and banking those in. I do think some swing trades can be quite good. You can see, for example, Tau on the daily time frame there, you can see that it's been moving very nicely. There could have been 4 beautiful trades, 1, 2, 3, 4 trades in between 337 and about 344 all the way up to 377 there. It's just since Thursday. So if you're not a 9 to 5er, if you have a full-time job, you could have gotten in these trades, just jump in at these prices, set your take profit up at 377, rinse and repeat. And if you know how to leverage trade, you could have shorted these and you could have made 8 beautiful trades to the upside and the downside there on Tau. So there are opportunities there, but the traders markets are just in and out. Of course, I have my longer swings there with the SUI and the Tau that I'm still in from $2.10 and from $233. And of course, you can leverage trade and scalp these as well. To the upside and to the downside, you can make a lot of money, leverage trade in and out up to the upside and then back to the downside there for Tau. So that's just something very interesting there. And you can actually see in the Discord, we have been making these trades. This is what I said yesterday in the Discord. I gave a Monday market update. You can see all these incredible details that I put in here that I'm leaning towards a cool off before going high. That's exactly what happened. You can see this morning, the market cooling off exactly as I predicted yesterday AM, because the volume is down. And when you see there is a pump and the volume is down, that is usually a sign that things will start to cool off. You can see there that Bitcoin pumped off, decreasing volume, okay? And you can see it there also on the weekly, decreasing volume. You can see the volume down the bottom there that has been decreasing as the price is going up. So it's kind of normal for a little bit of a coolback, but instead I'm still leaning towards a shorter term pullback. So short term bearish, but long term obviously bullish there. And you can see the momentum indicators do support the theory that I'm sharing there as well. And we've had some great wins in the Discord as well. I love seeing the wins. Donut is back winning there, 248, 366, 300. You know, he's already paid for the Discord for the year in just 2 trades there, less than a cup of coffee. You can join the Tribal Trades Discord. There is a link below in the description. There's Maddox absolutely crushing it as well. Angel, I love Angel. She shorted SUI, 30x leverage there, 71% win, absolutely fantastic. Great trade there, Angel. And then Jim McCauley has been absolutely crushing it. I'm telling you, this guy, you know, with what I think it was $100. Yes, $100 last month. He used that $100 leverage trading and made $1,500. He's only been doing this for about a few months. And you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but he's over the age of 60. And it's never too late to learn how to do something and how to learn. And you can learn how to get these wins in the Tribal Trades Discord. There you can see all the wins. Nikola Tesla always in there making some great wins. We've got the Braveheart trader from Scotland there. William Wallace there doing a great job. Rod, as always, crushing it. Nikola Tesla there. A few losses, but that was posted some wins just above that. So I like how these guys, you know, they show they won a little bit, but their losses were small there. Lost $2 there and just some reality, and then had wins of $100 and $50 there on those 2 trades. So you can see there playing these snipes off my support and resistance levels that I gave at $3.42. So I give those in the Crypto Plays channel there on a daily basis. You can see the wins just keep stacking up for these guys. They just do a great job there, and that's what I love to see there. So yeah, just make sure that if you're interested, like I said, the link is below in the description of this video. Mind you click the more button, that will pop out, and there is the Tribal Trades Discord link there as well. I'm also in the Stocks with Josh Discord as well. Love the Stocks with Josh. And of course, I have my own Crown Traders channel in there where I share education, insights, and resources, some of my trade setups, and of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And so it'll be interesting to see. Buckle up your seatbelts. We've got that rate cut decision, but I think all eyes are on Fed Powell and the tone that he gives. And of course, until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord. And remember, the Discord is for all kinds of traders. For beginners, you can be a beginner, you can be intermediate, you can be expert, you can be a short-term scalper, you can be somebody who has a 9-to-5 job and you just like swing trades, or you can be a long-term investor. I have all the strategies and the education there for everybody of all levels and of all ages there. And so we'd love to see you in there. But until I see you, happy trading.